Welcome to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank you so much for stopping by today. So many channels you could be watching, but you're watching me, and I'm truly grateful for that. I never take it for granted. I allowed my license to expire over here because I have no plans of ever driving in the Philippines. I've been here on and off for over 13 years, and I've never driven a car, I've never driven a motorcycle, only a bike. And I've had some close calls even on the bike. So I just want to reiterate a few things, go over a few things, because I did a video when I first started on why I don't drive over here and the dangers of driving and the different driving patterns. If you do decide to drive over here, whether you're on vacation or as an expat, there's a few things you want to know. Your valid driver's license is going to be good in the Philippines for 90 days, 90 days when you get here. After that, you're going to have to apply for their license. It's a process. You go to the Land and Transportation Office. John went through it. Maryland went through it. I think altogether it's about 10,000 pesos. And it takes about 30 days. John took about 30 days. You got classes you go to, and it can be a tedious task. Now, I don't know, you may be able to look up an international driver's license and see if that's relevant over here, and if it is, how long that is valid, or when will that expire. Number two is have some type of insurance over here, because there's a lot of accidents on the road here in the Philippines. By the way, the most dangerous place in the Philippines is on the road. It's not the rebels. It's not getting kidnapped. It's not getting robbed and shot. It's not the two-man tandem. It's actually when you're behind the wheel, passenger in the car, on the motorcycle, even pedestrians. The last study that I read, about 4 people die every day in Manila in not car crashes, but pedestrians trying to cross the street. Because I'm going to tell you something, that was one of the hardest things I had to learn when I first got here to the Philippines, was just how to cross the street. The traffic patterns, when to cross, because the crosswalk means absolutely nothing here, guys. You know, in America, if you walk across that crosswalk and they don't stop, that's a major ticket. They may even take your license for that. Here, it's just a waste of paint, really. That's all it is. They'll run you over, and I'm pretty sure people have been run over in the crosswalk. But it's very, very dangerous over here. And that's why I never drive. Just this year, in the last 6 to 7 months, Maryland's had 4 friends involved in major accidents on their motorcycle. 3 dead, 1 seriously injured. I see it all the time. All you have to do is pick up the newspaper, and I guarantee you somebody's involved in an accident. A lot of times they die, because it's usually motorcycle against one of these big trucks, and many times it's because the brakes on the truck are not working the way they're supposed to work. It's a lot of different factors why I don't drive over here. When I first came here, I knew I wasn't going to drive, because everything, it looked like a bowl of spaghetti. It's very few yield signs that anybody pays attention to. Very few stop signs. I'm going to give you an example here. The major thoroughfare in St. Carlos City, I'm talking about, this is a major, the national highway, then the major street. Excuse me. There's no stop light. There's no flashing yellow light, caution light. And the one stop sign that I saw, it's 20 feet back from the street. You're going to pass it before you even realize that it's there. So that's why I don't drive over here. And then the people, I'm taught to drive defensively. Look out for the other guy. So I may last a little while over here, but over here they drive too offensively. They're on the offense. When they come to the intersection, they're riding in the intersection. Cars is coming. They'll just stop right there and then mosey their way around. It's as if you're driving with mental telepathy. They've got it down pat. There was a Formula One driver who came to the Philippines back in 2011. He said they're the best drivers he ever seen. He said because from the time he got into the taxi at the airport to his hotel, he said he saw so many near accidents. He said just by inches. And that's the margin of error that you have over here. If you're a foreigner and you're involved in an accident, more than likely it's going to be your fault. Why is that? I don't know. I guess they figure, number one, you don't know the rules. Number two, you can afford to pay. But that's another reason why I don't want to drive. And as an insurance agent, I'm retired now. I know how stressful driving can be, just getting behind that wheel. I'd curse 3 or 4 people out every day. Over here, that would get me deported because the way people drive is just unbelievable, man. You wouldn't even believe it. It's almost like there's no rules to the road unless it's an accident. A lot of the people, the last study that I read, 50% of motorcycle riders have no registration. And I would say they're being generous with that. I'm going to say it's probably 75%. A lot of new drivers over here in the Philippines. Remember, I tell you that the economy was booming over here pre-pandemic. So there's a lot of new cars, a lot of new drivers, a lot of new motorcycles and different vehicles on the road. And that's another hazard. And then the cars that are on the road, a lot of them are dilapidated. They've got bad brakes, bad tires. The maintenance is just horrible. So when you get behind the wheel, especially as a passenger, you're putting your life in the hands of the driver. And that's what I do on a daily basis. I'd rather them have the crash than me. But that's the reason I don't drive over here. When I first came here, the very first time I ever came to the Philippines, I'm in the taxi. He's just in regular traffic, so I guess he overtakes the 2 or 3 cars in front of him. Well, it takes a while. It takes a stretch of road to do that. So he's over in the oncoming traffic, and he's driving as if he's in his proper lane. This is the type of stuff you see. It scares me to death. You have the overtakers, which I call them the undertakers, because they kill so many people over here. You may have cleared the traffic. They're stopped at the crosswalk or the light. But here comes some guy in a hurry. He overtakes on the side. He's the one that's going to run you over because you can't see him. His view, your view is blocked by the cars. So the minute you step out there, boom, he runs you over. I've known 2 people who've had that done. One is my son's mother down in Zamboanga. She almost died crossing the street. They thought she was dead, as a matter of fact. But my son's mother, who lives, well, they're in the States now, but from Cebu, she was involved in an accident on the bus. She was getting on the bus. Now, if you ever rode these buses, you'll see what I'm talking about. Not the series buses, because they make sure you're on the bus before they take off. But they've got these other little buses. They're contract buses, or family-owned buses. And there's no frills to these buses. They're just a shell with some hard-ass seats in them. But anyway, they thought that she was already on the bus. And he took off. Well, hell, she fell back, hit her head. And of course, they thought she was dead too. The road over here is the most dangerous place you can be. Philippines aren't going to bother you. Nobody's going to rob you. Nobody's going to kidnap you. Nobody's going to shoot you. But you may get run over. Or you may be involved in a car accident. And I've been over here long enough. I've seen too much. So I won't drive. I let my license expire on purpose. Because I'm never going to drive over here. And that's one of those things where I can say never. So be careful when you come over here and you rent a motorcycle. Listen, guys, last year or year before last, there was a young Swedish guy. He was European. He was on Sikiho Island. And Surigao. See, the Surigao and Surigao. And he rented the motorcycle. And I guess they had been drinking. It was at night. He ran into the tree and killed himself. Well, don't you know that the people he rented the motorcycle from, they tried to bill the parents for the damage of the motorcycle. They eventually dropped it after all the hell that broke loose about that. Here they are losing their 19-year-old son, and now you're on my case for $1,000 or $2,000 for your motorcycle. So I just want to talk about this stuff. I talk about real life stuff. This is the reason why I don't drive over here. It's very, very dangerous. There's very few rules of the road that people even pay attention to. A lot of times, there's no stop signs. There's no yield signs. There's no caution lights. There's no stop lights. You're driving with ESP, with mental telepathy. And that's not going to cut it with me. My life is much too valuable for that. So if you come over here and that's what you want to do, don't say the Sunshine Shoulders didn't tell you. I didn't warn you that the most dangerous place in the Philippines is on the road. It's not in Baziland. So thank you so much for stopping by today. I just started the conversation. If there's anything else you want to add in the comments, go ahead. A guy asked me about the water. Can you drink the tap water? I guess after a while you can. I wouldn't. I know that I've been brushing my teeth with it for 13 years. It hasn't done anything to me. Maybe I've gotten used to it. But if I were you, I wouldn't take that chance. I've been here a long time. I know that my mother-in-law down in Zamboanga, she was fixing my coffee with it for about a month, and I never had any problems. But don't do it. Water's cheap over here. It's good filtered water. We buy about 12 liters every other day for we buy like 4 12-liter containers every other day, drinking water, boobies bath, and different things like that. It's 25 pesos for each 12-liter container. But you're not going to have any problems with that. I've never been sick from the water over here. I've never been sick from the food over here, even though that can happen. So if you're in America, it's early. You're still asleep. I'm in Bacolod City. We came here to pick up Maryland's passport. And so now, she's international now. We plan on going to Thailand. Take her a few places around here close to the Philippines just to let her get her feet wet. I'm going to talk to your subconscious mind. When you get up, you go to work, you go to get a newspaper, you go to the gym, get a cup of coffee, and you see somebody out in the street or wherever you see them. Buy them something to eat, buy them something to drink, give them a few dollars. If you're in the Philippines, I guess it's about 4:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. We'll do our electronic community pantry later on tonight at about 8 o'clock. We weren't able to do it at 12 noon. We were traveling here to Bacolod from San Carlos City. Not a day goes by that I don't help somebody over here. Not because I'm looking for some type of Medal of Honor or something like that. It's just that people over here need help. Somebody help me in my time of need. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. When we help other people, we help ourselves. Take care, stay safe, stay COVID free. I'll see you next time.